only economical. It's also psychological. So psychological. Let's talk about the psychology of money first of all.
Fantastic.
If I asked you what is the psychology of money and how does it affect people when it has to do with money?
Great. In actual fact, personal finance is what 80% mindset and 20% knowledge. But a lot of people actually have it the other way around. They always think it's just the knowledge. So let me even start with myself. Why did I start Money Africa? So I got my first job at the age of 20. I was working in South Africa and I was earning good pay. I mean, I was working towards qualifying as a chartered accountant. For 4 years, guys, I saved nothing. I was literally living from hand to mouth, but I earned a very good amount of money. So when I relocated back to Nigeria, I came back with nothing. And I remember I was in church that day and my mom had squeezed 500 naira into my hand as offering. I went back home that day and I cried that I'd seen good money and then I had nothing to show for it. And if you were to ask people, they would be able to tell you that to a certain extent it's true. So where am I going to about the psychology of it? We've always seen a lot of people that have won the lottery and many of them do not pass the money to the next generation. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do. How do you pass it to the next generation? And every time I say this thing at seminars or at radio stations, everybody says, yeah, it's true. They won the lottery. They've seen £1 million. They did not pass it over. Okay, everybody bring out a pen and calculator. How much have you earned since you started working? Do you have 10% of that amount stashed somewhere? In 80 or even more percent of the time, it's a no. So that is what we're trying to address. How do you think about the long term? How am I planning for the next 20 years? How am I planning for the next 10 years? And when people can see the bigger picture, it's easier to take them on that journey.
Now we see why you actually talk about the psychology. You call it the psychology. All right, Lagos, I know that there are tons of people out there that would want to be a part of the conversation. So if you're out there and you've got questions, what you can do is reach out to us right now because the show is dedicated to every single one of you out there listening. 0809-444-0981 is where you can send your messages to. That's on WhatsApp, by the way. On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM, and you can use the hashtag LagosTalks981. Okay, so speaking about money still, we always talk about Nigeria as a peculiar country. We always talk about doing business here. The terrain is somewhat special, right? So let's talk about the ease of, investing and also making money in Nigeria. How does that work?
Okay. Anybody that is living in Nigeria actually cannot afford to not be investing. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of a concept called inflation, right? The inflation in Nigeria is approximately 11%. Basically, inflation steals from you. Let's say you had 100,000 naira and you put it underneath your bed. At the end of the year, that money is now worth 89,000 naira. So we want our money to be able to do for us what it can do today. We want it to be able to do it for us in the next 10 years. And it won't happen if you're not investing it. Now, let me bring it back home. If you were living, let's say, in the UK or you were earning in, like, say, in the US, the inflation is about 1.5%. So you put $100 underneath your bed. Worst case, you lost $1.50. Do you get? The bulk of your money is still preserved, but that doesn't happen here, and that is why everybody needs to be very aggressive about investing, just to, at the very minimum, to protect the value of that money. So now you asked me a question saying that what is the ease of actually doing this? There are actually several numerous investment platforms out there, lots of asset companies that are now targeting the retail investors. I remember when just about some years ago, it wasn't like this. They were always focusing on high net worth individuals, right? So you needed to have, like, so whenever people are thinking of investing, I need like $1 million naira, or I need like 2 million or even more, it was like a market that we were sort of, I keep saying because we're sort of excluded out of, but that has changed now. With a lot of investment platforms that little as 5,000 naira you can start, little as 10,000 naira you can start. So what is the ease? The ease is now there are lots of them out there. But at the same time, the thing about is you don't want to put your money somewhere that you don't know if it's going to come out or not. So education is also very important. So whenever you're investing, you need to be able to know that the management is legit, they're here on the long run, and what kind of instrument are you investing in.
Right, brilliant. Now, thank you so much. We've been speaking with Tosin Olasende, who's CEO of Money Africa. I'm just looking at basic financial literacy, really, as well as the psychology of money, hoping that it would enlighten, educate, and inspire you to want to do more with how much you're earning or how much is coming in, or be able to multiply the income that you currently have. And when I say multiply, I'm not talking about any magic or Ponzi scheme. I'm talking about legitimate ways and means to which you can actually grow your money. And when we come back, we'll continue to take on questions. I mean, the next thing we'd love for her to touch on is first steps to investing. We talked about the importance of investing, of, you know, things to look out for. And we'll look for those who are, okay, possibly considering it and thinking, maybe it's time I did something with the amount of money. I think even before then, we'll talk about how to save, even though you're earning, what is considered. I'm like, I can't live completely or fully with what I'm earning. You're asking me to take out money to save. Perhaps we'll go into the psychology of that, deal with that, and then talk about the first steps to investing. But this is Lagos Talks 981. If you have any question, please don't forget to send your message, your questions, your comments to our WhatsApp platform. I'll let you know the number once we return.
Oh wow, well done. Nice summary.
Very important. I'm glad that, I mean, we're talking about this because
it's not easy out there.
Well, it's not.
I'm waiting for you to tell me one formula you're going to share with us now.
Yeah.
It has to work.
No, it has to work. It has to work. It has to work. It's really amazing because whether you save or you don't save, time is going to pass. And you're like, why did I do it all that time? Yeah.
Like 6 gigabytes for just 1,500 naira. I don't get more.
So in our talk, are we going to look at the?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I actually lost my train of thought as well.
You say, are we going to look at what?
We're going to look at stock exchange and other things.
Yeah, we will. We will look at stock markets and I mean how to invest on the stock market and all of that. Yeah. So we're going to look at that. So do you have any stock?
I don't.
Do you have any stock?
No.
And that's what we want to change. We want to change
I'm
that.
interested in,
Want to
in
change
that.
that. I think our parents, lots of them had bad experiences, and you know how they pass on their. Even though many people have not felt it firsthand, but just hearing other people's story just makes them, stay off the market completely. But we're bringing excitement back into the market and just getting millionaires to participate.
You know, I wish that startup companies, like they have in the US and the UK, could have people could buy into their shares. You know, like if someone started an Uber company,
and then they give. There's a person working. I see what you're saying. Like I remember, I know that this is live on my IG, so I knew that there was a time when Paystack was raising. It was a family and friends raise, and I heard about it, like a closed circuit kind of thing, right? You just hear about it, and many a time as well, the entry is also like sort of high. I mean, this is not even for Paystack, but I know that a couple of the tech companies always look like $5,000 and stuff like that as entry, right? And even that is very low because it's always usually high. I think the lowest I've ever heard is 5,000. Yeah, $5,000. Yeah, $5,000 is because they don't want something. Yeah, because also they don't want a messy table. They don't want a situation whereas like 200 people came with like $100 each. So that's why if a tech company could actually form, and that is their job, is to tell people that listen, this person is starting a fintech company, would you like to invest? And they create an SPV and everybody comes in together as a group and it becomes one product. It's going to make sense. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
Why can't they list on the stock exchange?
Okay, they wouldn't list now because of the requirements. To list on the stock exchange requires a whole lot of things. So even when they are there, they'll be like, they're putting your numbers out for scrutiny and things like that. For instance, Branch released their numbers. You know Branch, the company, the app. No, sorry, not Branch. Who's the Nigerian one? The Pay Later, yes. Now Carbon released their numbers, and everybody was like, what? Because they don't have to. So many people would rather not.
Were they making so much or so little?
It was just okay. It was very tapered compared to your GTV and the rest of that. In terms of their efficiency, it's not there yet. But I'm hoping that they're going to get more efficient and all of that. They're going to get better. So yeah, when they released their numbers, people were shocked. Like, wow, they did because they don't have to. So yeah, so many a time they don't want everybody in their numbers. They just want to grow gradually. And also, sorry, I'm taking us back again. If you look at analysis like Netflix, if you had invested like let's say 100,000 naira in Netflix in 2002, you could have been sitting on 1.4 billion now. Back in those days, the companies came very early into IPO. But look at Uber. Uber just came in like last year. They've been around for almost 14 years or so before they came for an IPO. So companies are waiting to properly mature before they come into the global stock exchange. Now they've gotten their full value at that point. Do you get?
So yeah, the
So
stocks
it's
are
that.
lower, the shares are lower.
Yeah. So it's the people that got in early, like your
Gary Vee.
seed investors, early stage investors that actually like really something. But then again, massive risk.
Now,
Now I feel like rewinding the time. I'm going to invest in Netflix. That money is
But
just
now the
making my
beautiful,
Netflix.
but now the beautiful thing is that there's always a new Netflix. There will,
Yeah, the
there will
Showmax
always.
has
We will just have to
always
keep
one
like education, what is happening in China, what is happening in all these different countries and all of that. Okay.
we're going back. Sorry, lack of me.
All right, Lagos. It's still Lagos Talks 91 here on Smooth 98.1. I'm Ayo Myrese.
And I'm Kaidi Baker. Good morning, Lagos.
And we're talking financial literacy in Nigeria today, particularly the psychology of money. And to speak to us this morning on that topic, we have Tosin Olasende, who is the CEO of Money Africa. Morning again, Tosin.
Hi.
Now, before the break, we talked about the psychology of money and saving and growing your money. And something that really jumped out at me was the fact that Tosin mentioned that for money literacy, it's 80% mental and 20% intelligence. So it starts with how you think about money or what you think about money, even with regards to your saving culture. I love the fact that you shared your personal experience about when you worked in South Africa, earned a good salary, yet had nothing to show for it when you left that job. And that's the story of many people. And so saying people will give you reasons as to why they're not saving today. One of which is the economy is hard. You know, you're not earning enough. The money you're earning is you're barely making ends meet. And for some people, the reality is that they're not even making ends meet.
Okay.
Before the end of the month, the salary is finished. In fact, for some people, the first week, and so they beg or borrow to just get to the next. So they're living from hand to mouth.
Hand to mouth.
What would you tell such a person, or how would you advise such a person to set something aside for the rainy day?
Okay, before we proceed, I would like to differentiate before two categories of people. Nigeria has a poverty rate of 70% living in poverty. This message is not to the woman frying akara or trying to keep a leaking roof above her head. This message is to a person that has a discretionary income. What is a discretionary income? A discretionary income is what is left after you focus on your essentials. You've paid your rent, you've paid food, things that you need to survive. Then whatever is left, that is a discretionary income. So if you have a discretionary income, this is for you. A lot of people keep telling me that, Tosin, where will I start from? How will I do? Then I said, go to your wardrobe and open it. No. Go to your wardrobe and open it. And you will see how it accumulates over the years. You look at a top that you bought like 10 years ago, that Ashobi you bought like 8 years ago, and it grows. And even if you move to a new house that was supposedly empty, give it 5 years, what happens? It will fill up. You need to bring that same energy into your money. That's just it. If you move to a house that, let's say you needed a kettle, and you don't have a kettle, what happens? You eventually save up and you buy that kettle. And that is what happens. Ask people that move into new houses. That key, let's say they need a microwave. They will wait. And after 6 months, they provide for that microwave. That is the same energy that you need to start bringing towards your financial plan. If I must eat, I should invest. Again, this is for those that have a discretionary income, not for those living in poverty. So if I must eat, I must invest. So you just keep taking a portion of that. And that is why I keep talking about the long-term picture. If you can see how this money can actually grow over the years and how the power can actually compound, then it's a better story. Nobody wants to just start putting 20K away when at the end of the year, bleh, it's just 240,000. Really, really, really? Is that all my effort? But if I tell you that if you were putting 20,000 away every month from your 20s, earning an average of 10% per annum, when you're retiring, guess how much that is? Every time I do that exercise, people come up with numbers like 9 million, 10 million. It is a whooping 211 million. And what has happened? Time has happened. It has compounded. You're earning an interest. If you had put that same money underneath your bed, it would have just been 9.6 million or thereabout. So that is the message. Guys, just do the long-term game. Stay the course. Be diligent. Wait it out. So, tip. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Quite interesting. But all this sounds great now. But for people that don't even know how to go about this, what's the criteria?
What's the criteria? The very first thing you need to do is actually drop a budget. You can lie to everybody, but you cannot lie to yourself. And numbers don't lie. So get up. Do you know that multinationals pay a whopping amount of money to get people to manage their budgets.
Mm.
I'm talking like they pay millions
Okay.
to top employees to do that. Do you know that research companies pay people to learn how you spend? A 30 living in suburb, how does she spend her money? They want to know. People are paying for your data on how you're spending your money, and you are not concerned. You should learn it. Then if it's useful to them, then it should be useful to you. And that is why people need to actually get up every time, guys. Your budget is your roadmap. Start with that. Put a pen to a paper. What is coming in, what is going out? Then you're able to find the blockages and what to let go of. Sometimes I ask people, what do you spend on eating out per month? And they don't know. Or what do you spend on gifts per month? And they don't know. You need to know it. So you need to be able to say that I spend 10% of my income on entertainment. I spend something of my income on this. Why? People say, Tosin, I do this exercise, but it does not necessarily mean that my money is going to increase. But it's giving you, you're knowing now where you are. Do you get? And then you'll be able to take the next step. So number one thing is your budget. Drop a budget. What is coming in? What is going out? What holes can I block? Sometimes it's just really better information. Let me give you a random example. So I run Money Africa, and we grew because we're doing videos. So I need to do my makeup, and then I do my video and I talk about it. I used to spend 7,000 naira on videos, and I'll just shoot like one in a week and shoot another one. So I was like, when we started looking at the numbers, we're spending quite a number of money on grooming in order to make the videos look good. I was like, can we compress this? So we started doing block shoots, and I'm sure that anybody in the media already knows that this is stable. But I'm now in a system or in a that is not my baby. Like, you know, that this is like new. Yeah. Put everything on a block, and that cost significantly dropped, and that is the power of numbers. If we did not look at it, we would have not seen it. So the same thing, it might even just be the way the way you're coming to work. Do you get? Is there anything that you could change? It could even be the way you're buying food. Is there anything that you could change? It could even be your travel. Can I book my tickets earlier? Do you get? So learn your habits, then look for how you can plug the hole. So where do I start from? I start from my budget. The next thing is that there's a concept called a 50-30-20, meaning that 50% of your money goes towards your essentials, that things that you cannot live without. 30% goes towards your wants, ashrebi, girls out, bachelorette, the whole works, and 20% goes towards your investment. So if you are able to split it in that way and start from there, that is a good place to start.
That's not bad at all. I think that's quite realistic if we're being honest with ourselves. I mean, you have 30% of your money to play around with and just 20% for investment. And that's a good, I mean, so so for instance, if you were earning 200,000 naira per month, 100,000 naira of that money should be what goes to expenses, essentials.
Yeah.
So if you're spending more than that, then it means you're living way above your limit, or above you're pushing above your weight. And then 30% goes to your wants. That means that out of that, 30% of that is about 60,000 naira.
Yeah. Well done. Your math is excellent.
60,000 naira goes to ashrebi. So ashrebi average 25k. I tell you, calculate this. You start buying ashrebi. I'm serious.
See, your numbers are beautiful. They are so beautiful. The question is, what are you gonna make of it? But yeah.
Or the boys hang out. You know, if you notice that when you go out, you spend like 10,000 one night. It means that you're entitled to only 6. Or if you're a very generous giver, you go out, you buy for yourself, buy for all your friends.
For all your friends and all of that.
You go out, you ask everyone to bring out their money, you're going Dutch.
Yeah.
And then the last 20%
is for investment.
In fact, I would suggest, and I'm sure you probably agree with this, that the first thing that should come out, apart from your investment.
Absolutely. Treat it like a tax.
Yeah. If not,
you know the way your tax doesn't come to your hand, treat it so you can automate it and take it out. Another thing I want to touch on is black tax. Because of about 36% of Nigerians are unemployed, and because of the high dependency ratio, based on research, I can't remember who carried out this research, the average person has about 5 people dependent on them. So this might be directly or indirectly. So there's auntie, there's mommy in the village, and all these other needs, right? How do you then also capture it? So you can also start putting this in your budget. The beautiful thing about planning for this is this: nobody hits you by surprise. So you let them know, like, this is the plan, and we have to move with this plan. And when you teach them, in very high chance that they start falling in line. So another thing is, people also say, Tosin, things that I did not plan for, like emergencies,
Yes.
funeral, things like that. There are lots of funeral plans. It might be an uncomfortable conversation. There's a certain region of Nigerians that actually spend a huge amount of money on funeral. I heard that sometimes all the money they're supposed to use to start a business, it has to go into letting the dead, letting the dead off. There are many ways to go about this. There is actually an insurance plan. Or sometimes just, hey guys, the dead has gone. You can't kill ourselves. We'll make do of what we have. But yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad we've set that foundation with regards to basic saving tips. Now, let's talk about easing into investment. So, graduating from just putting money aside. So, let's say I graduated initially, number one, I didn't save at all. Then I now moved to saving some money. I put it under my pillow. Now you told me about bank. Okay, let me put it in the bank. I'll get like how many % of interest if I keep my money there. Now you want to move from putting your money in the bank to investing. And I'll tie that to Deepo's question here. Deepo is asking, if you have #1 million and you don't know what to do with it, what advice can you give to someone? But before we get to 1 million, I want us to first of all
Start with 100.
talk to the 5,000. You said that some people can start investing in 5,000 naira, no longer HNIs, but we're going as low as possible. But please hold that thought with the questions, because the next thing we're going to look at is investment.
Okay.
No matter how small, or in this case, how big your money is.
Yeah.
Tosin is here to give you some financial steps. We're going to break now. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on Lagos Talks 91.
Okay.
Oh my, 6 events.
September is here.
It's usually long,
And
eh?
if you have children, you already know what happens in September.
Ah.
School resumptions and school fees. See, we all have our dreams. And
November.
dreams of a better life and a brighter future for our children is one of them. And sometimes even a financial goal that we need to achieve. But our economy can get tough,
What company
and
is this?
sometimes when we are
Which one?
The advert?
challenges
Page.
Oh, okay.
house rent, starting a side hustle, or even going on vacation with no one to turn to, it's difficult to make those dreams come true.
So,
It is for this
do you have an app as
reason
well?
Page Financials was
We are working. We should be out.
Page Financials is
Oh my gosh, I'm live. We should be out
living in Lagos and Ibadan.
soon.
Get
Alright.
urgent loans,
Because I was just looking through your
attractive
website. It's
investment
nice.
opportunities,
Thank you.
and enjoy fast payments at
Thank
zero
you.
charge simply by
A lot of
logging
people
on to
build a product before they build a community.
www.pagefinancials.com
We want to build a
or call
community first,
01-700
and that's what we've done.
Do you have
Putting some of-
a group?
Page Financials
We have
Because
over-
someone asked,
we have over-
CBN, and has a
Yeah,
mission
we have-
to help its
we have about
customers
1,000
reach their
people in our
financial
group.
goals
Oh, really?
by
Yeah.
providing
That's good.
smart
Do you have an investment club? Is that part of do you
We do more of telling people we're like their tossing. So we have a team and the restaurant like real time.
Okay.
To 5 million naira, and this can be secured in less than 3 hours.
Thank you guys. Thank
No
you.
collateral. That's right.
That I'm
Absolutely
yawning
no collateral.
Live
So
agent.
hurry now to www.
What you say?
I'm thinking out loud.
Oh, okay.
And that's not all. Page Financial's investment platform helps customers achieve their financial goals with a
And do you love
robust
doing this?
portfolio that
This
has
job?
highly
Oh, yeah.
competitive
You love it?
interest
Of
rates
course.
compared to other
Couldn't think of any other job to do.
There's no other job.
Well, of course there are other jobs.
Ah.
Couldn't think of any other job to do.
Yeah.
Quick returns on your investment,
It's exciting.
whether you're a salary earner
I didn't know I was gonna love doing this so much. If I had known, I would have started earlier.
So what are you waiting
You definitely look like someone who enjoys doing
Oh
it.
gosh, like I remember I got an offer earlier in the year and they're like, oh, come to Dubai, pay $100,000, fancy apartment. And I was just
Really?
like, yeah, and I was just like, oh, I really love this. I was like, I need to build this company properly. So that way I didn't have to always be getting these tempting offers.
Yeah,
Always like, come do this and all of that. So I need to build Money Africa
I
properly.
can't believe you turned down that one.
100,000.
But I was working at British America Tobacco as a commercial finance manager and I was earning almost there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. So that I really need to do this properly and build it properly.
Salary earners in that zone. The Ibadan branch is located at 67 Bukola Dupe Road,
Yeah,
Ibadan,
yeah,
Oyo State.
per 6
While the
months,
latest
yes.
branches are at
Thank
23
you.
Norman Williams Street, Southwest Ikoyi, and 29 Okwedi Road, Ikeja, both in Lagos State. Visit any Page Financials branch today or call 01 700 Financials.com.
Guys, we're on a break. We'll be getting back soon. Don't worry.
I've just followed you.
Page Financials, taking you further.
Maximum.
Okay.
Hi, my name
Oh,
is
can I-
Decori, and I'm going to tell you about your favorite Milo Ready to Drink. Milo Ready to Drink is made from the natural goodness of milk, malt, and cocoa, and fortified. with
And when we
essential
just
vitamins
started,
and
because we
minerals,
were on the media eye, I always felt the need to like, just to proper and all of that. Like when I was in my 9 to 5, like I mean, it was a very chill environment. Just wear your t-shirt and your jeans and all of that. I was like, Tosin, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. And you know what? After a while, your followers will just really take you for who you are.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I just want to talk about money. But yeah.
You're very correct, though, because after a while you stop focusing on packaging, because packaging costs a lot of money.
It's like, when it's not even
Should I
your.
skip the news? for you?
Yeah.
So of course, if I had to like present and all of that, that's
Yeah.
a different case. But your random outings,
Okay.
are like, nah, can't.
I can imagine. No wahala. No wahala. Alright, take it easy. Bye. I can't see 9:55 news here. Do you see anything?
Who's that, though?
Okay.
That 9:35 one.
I should skip 9:55. No, I'm just saying there is no 9:55 here. Oh, do you see anything?
Usually come look at the business news.
For what?
Yeah, business news.
No, it's hard markets. It's not even news.
Yeah, but that's it. So that you should not put any hard markers on there.
Okay.
Something.
I've never heard of a gala advert.
Oh, this has
You've
been
never?
big. They've started. They just started.
Do they have competition?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from everywhere.
A lot.
Lots.
A lot
from
of
everywhere.
competition now.
That's the thing.
10:30.
You would think you're the market leader. I want
They
competition
were
with
the
this
market leaders. They were.
one. So you have to
They were the
always be
market
on your
leaders before
toes.
now.
They were for so many years.
Okay, we're coming in now.
Every time I'm on the road, I always have to dial tune to Smooth 98.1.
That's right. Lead your dials on Smooth 98.1. And by the way, if you just joined us, this is Lagos Talks 981. It's a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayomara Essie and Kaide Baker.
And today we're looking at financial literacy in Africa. Joining us in the conversation is Tosin Olasende, CEO of Money Africa. Before the break, we looked at the 100% rule, and I think if you didn't pick anything else, you need to pick this up. 100%
That exactly.
suggestion, and that is how you can save, or how you can a suggestion as to how you can spend your income. 50% goes to essentials, 30% to wants, and 20% to investment. And then treat your investment like tax. Take them out first. Take it out first. Don't wait till you spent everything and then the remaining, if 20% is remaining, you then save. No, that's not a good idea. You need to save 20% upfront. Now, before the break, we asked the question about investing. We're going or venturing into investment, particularly from the lower end to the high end. Dipo had asked us on WhatsApp if you had #1 million to spare,
Yeah.
what would your advice be? But also we're asking for those who have 5,000 naira, who have 10,000 naira to spare, how would you advise in terms of investment?
All right. So for those that have 5,000 or 10,000, number one, I would say start with a money market mutual fund. So basically, a money market mutual fund invests in risk-free assets or low-risk assets. Sorry. So I mean treasury bills, commercial papers, and things like that. That's where I would say you should start from. However, and I'm also going to give a honest advice now. If the only thing you have to invest on a monthly basis is 5,000, I'd consider that you look for any other thing that you can monetize, right? So there are many things you're already doing for free. So like this conversation we're having now, I used to do it for free. I go for dinner with my friends and I go on Facebook. I never for once thought that I could actually start a company, it was initially an Instagram company, get an Instagram account and just talk about those things. And then I'm turning down offers like every time there's a company coming wanting to advertise, offering millions, or like, no, we want to actually have a balanced view first. So where am I going? There's something that you're already doing for free that you can actually monetize. So if 5K is the only thing you have to invest, look for that thing. Number two, I have 1 million. How can I invest? The very first thing I'm going to ask you is, what is your risk appetite? So there are different instruments that we can invest in. We have the risk-free assets. We also have assets that are medium risk, and we have assets that is a high risk. So what are your risk-free assets? Basically something that you're guaranteed that you're going to get back. You can go and sleep at night. You are safe. You understand, it's home run. So those are things like your treasury bills and your money market instruments. The next ones that are medium risk could be the shares of blue chip companies. What is a blue chip company? A blue chip company is a well-established that has shown their strength over the years. So without trying to shade any company, I'm trying not to do a like-for-life comparison. You cannot compare certain companies to like your, I don't want to call names. You know blue chip, come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how then do you know which blue chip company to
invest in? Again, like I always say, literacy is very, very important, right? Go online, read up about them. What are the companies doing? What profit did they make in the previous year? Who is the management? Management is very, very key, because at the end of the day, you're investing first in the people before any other thing. So for instance, when Nigeria was having its crisis with foreign currency and the market was declining, there was a particular company that outperformed every other person. And despite all the challenges, which was, it was okay for anybody to have failed during that period, but they went above the norm. They turned things around. So how are they going to respond to challenges? How are they going to turn the story around? How are they going to fight back and things like that? Track record does not guarantee what's going to happen in the future, but it actually says a lot. So even if you were to go to hospital, they start asking you things like, do you have a history of this and that? Do you have, so patterns are very key, like what has happened in the past. So take a look at that. Then the next one, that high risk investments. So this could be investing in a startup. Yes, it's very high risk. They said 4 in 5 of them will fail. There's now a new surge as well. People are going into cryptocurrency without understanding it, right? So this is also another high risk terrain. So Warren Buffett always says something. He says risk is because of lack of knowledge. Once you understand what you're up against, you're able to then make a better decision. So now back to your question of how do I invest my 1 million? If you're a low risk person, you can dump everything in the money market mutual fund or treasury bill. If you're a medium risk person, you can split it. So put a portion in mutual fund or treasury bills, and also put a portion in blue chip shares and things like that. If you're high risk, there's a chance that you're going to put a higher percentage of your money in high risk investments, while another portion stays in low risk. Where am I going to with all of this? What is the point of investing if your money is not going to come back to you? So risk management is at the very core everybody's responsibility. Many people cry about their investments because they've taken up too much than they can chew. If you cannot sleep at night with your investment decisions, there's a very high chance that you've taken up too much risk. So at the end of the day, how well is your risk balanced? How much risk have you taken? So if you're in doubt, just stay in safety. Otherwise, you can experiment.
Now, at what amount do you move away from the money market mutual funds? So you talked about from 5,000 naira. So 5,000 naira to what threshold? At what point can you start investing in medium risk or other things? And then, so for the low appetite risk takers, is it just the money market, treasury bills? How about government bonds?
Same thing, government bonds. They also fall under that same category. So government bonds, treasury bill. At the end of the day, money market basically means you're investing in fixed income assets. So things like treasury bills, government bonds, commercial paper. So yes, it covers it.
How about fixed deposit?
Okay, fixed deposit, yes, as well. Yes. So now remember, we have fixed deposit has 2 categories. There's fixed deposit for a commercial bank. So that is all your big skyscraper banks that are visible that you can see. While we also have fixed deposit for microfinance institutions. So they take up much more risk, and they're smaller than their counterpart. Also, the required minimum capital for these 2 entities also differ. Many a time, a microfinance institution is more dominant in a particular state than in others. So yeah, those are the things to look out for. So you can either do a fixed deposit with a commercial bank or a fixed deposit with a money market, with a microfinance institution.
Well, how about the interest rate for both of them?
It differs because, again, the risk. So with a commercial bank, you know that it's hook, line, and sinker. With some microfinance institutions, like now in 2018, the government withdrew the licenses of about 135 of them. Yeah. So again, reputation, track record, how long have they been in the market? What are they known for? Who are the people behind them? So yeah. management.
Now, you talked earlier about, knowing the businesses that you're going to invest in, right?
Yeah.
And, from the standpoint of maybe someone here in Nigeria that would like to invest in, startups, how about companies that are not in Nigeria? If I find
Oh yeah,
companies
in global
Ghana,
stocks.
in global stocks, or
Yes.
even in the US,
Yes.
for example,
Yes.
how does that work?
Okay, there is now a company that does global stock. I think Trove is the only one that is currently available on the market, and there are a couple of other companies that will be launching soon that want to do global stocks. There are other platforms out there as well that you can want to invest in, an Amazon, Netflix, and the rest of them. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Tosin. Tosin has been brilliant, just breaking it down for us. We have a few more questions from our listeners. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll touch on those questions and then we'll wrap up for this morning.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much, Tosin. This
You're
is
welcome.
Lagos Talks 981 here on Smith 98.1.
All right. Because a company like, for example, Disney
Yeah.
or DreamWorks,
Yeah.
they put out films every time,
Yeah.
right? And it keeps on going.
Yeah. It's even
I
a
would like to
fantastic.
invest in
You
places.
can. You can look up, like I said, there's Trove. Go look them up. You can download their app. They give opportunity to do that. Also, I also think it's a perfect gift for children. Everybody's always talking about a child's birthday and you buy them a big teddy bear, a big cake. I mean, it's excellent. Please don't get me wrong. For my godson, he's going to be turning 5 soon. And I want to buy him what? A $200 worth of shares in a Disney. So when he turns 18, cross fingers, touchstone, $200 might be what? $10,000. So what are you doing? Like, do you get just
You
small,
didn't see
small?
that based on that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. What else? What meaningful gifts? So even your friend just got and you just graduated, instead of the regular, it could be a money mutual fund account, it could be a share, it could be a voucher to go for a financial literacy session. You understand? Start looking for more meaningful
Gifts, people.
gifts. Yeah.
Great.
It's a culture. We need to, and so for like the first 18 months, Money Africa was running, and of course, we're looking for nice ways to make income and all of that, but it was very important that we wanted to cause a change of wave,
Yeah.
want to cause a vibe, want to cause a movement, and then it was very important for us to do this. It starts in the mind. So, like I stay at Chevron, and every time I'm coming to VIA, I know what elevation and harvesters are going to preach on, even though I don't go there. And what are they working on? Strategy. I'm driving to work every day and I'm seeing it. I'm driving to work every day and I'm seeing. That is what we do in Money Africa. We show up every day. We're reminding you. Somebody said to me, Tosin, I hear your voice, or I see your post whenever I'm about to make a kind of decision. And that's what we want to do for young Africans to better financial habits and then we start.
That's brilliant. What time do we come back? Because I have only a few minutes when I come back.
We have, we come back at 45, I guess.
45? We're back at 45?
No, well, I'm talking 9:45.
Oh, okay, another 3 minutes. Are we going on another break when we come back?
No, this
That's
is a
it.
final
Yeah,
stretch.
that's
Fantastic. Sorry.
Thank you.
And also another thing is, I remember there was a time I'd gone out with some friends and they were asking how much they earned, and you could see the man, and people like, oh my god, how much? Who dares have this conversation? Well, guess what? In other clients, like a standard, you
Talk
get.
about how much people earn.
Yeah.
It's standard. It helps you negotiate better, and also, if not that people are always. We're in a different terrain.
Yeah.
If not for the fear of
You come and ask me for money
envy, come and borrow, or jealous or what. It's because it changes me. Because now, if I have a similar path with, let me use a Freestone name, with Kike, for example, and Kike is earning 2 times than I'm earning, then it's motivation for me to actually go out
Better,
there
do better.
to negotiate better and do all of that. So these conversations are actually important.
They are.
But
It is.
we don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's not even encouraged in companies, so that's the thing. Because
Are you
work in a
It's in your
company,
contract, yes, that you shouldn't
always in your
discuss
It's in
it.
Nigeria.
Yeah, it's in
It's
Nigeria,
Nigeria.
yeah.
You can't.
It's the culture of silence in Nigeria. We just like it because how they stop her for work. We just like it because it protects the employers. They don't want you to negotiate.
competition, yeah.
So sometimes you have people on the same what's it called? On
Level?
the same level, earning different salaries.
rewarding our customers. So hurry, visit the nearest Liverpool or Coolworld stores from 12th of August.
So that way you know what other people, you know how to move up, how to.
.ng for more info. Offer valid while stocks
Even just simple business ideas like, oh, what other things that people doing for money? Everybody will talk about everything for money. Like,
Well, there's also I mean, people don't encourage. You know how we say we don't want people to put. How do you say
Eyes.
put eyes in your business? So yeah, sometimes I think it's good to talk, but other times also it's good to mind your business. So it depends
Yeah.
on who you're talking to, really.
Fair point, fair point, fair point. Who you're talking to. Fair. Like my friend, he's in the flower business. He literally sells roses and all of that. And he was showing me the numbers. I was like,
No, they're making. My friend also
Flower business.
is a florist. It is. They are making a killing.
and he was like, if you're
Size
interested, I'll
flowers
show
here.
you the way.
weddings. She made on Valentine's Day. She made millions. Just
Yeah.
in it.
She was like, if you're interested, I'll show you the way. I was like, I'm not interested.
One order on Valentine's Day, just from a store,
Yeah.
4 to 7 million, just one store. They make a lot. I was like,
Well, this is Lagos Talks 981 on Smooth 98.1. If you're watching on YouTube, wow, you're having a great time because we're having so much intense conversations, right? And you still can catch on to that. So head on down to YouTube. We're youtube.com/smooth981fm. And of course, we still have our very special guest in the studio, Tosin. She's talking to us all about, how to grow businesses and make money and invest in Nigeria.
and again, we've been talking about appetite for risks. If your appetite is you have no appetite for risk, just sit in your mutual fund corner or fixed deposit. But if you have, medium risk appetite, you can go for blue chip companies. You can invest in blue chip companies. High risk for those who are have an appetite for high risk. You can invest in startup organizations, cryptocurrency. Now, someone asked about the risk category that's DICO for Forex business.
Okay, so I get this question a lot. Tosin, I want to do Forex. Guys, that thing requires time. Yeah, it requires time. So if you're not doing it full time or you don't have the knowledge, you're already at a disadvantage. So I'd always say protect. Do I have the time? Do I have the knowledge? So if you don't have the time and the knowledge, then your risk will be higher than that of the average astute Forex investor. So you need the time, you need the knowledge. If you don't have those two, then your risk is higher than even the already high risk. Yeah.
All right. So you definitely put you under high risk.
Yeah. I wonder, because if you don't have the time and you don't have the knowledge, but for those that actually understand it well and do a stellar job, which they're actually in the minority, then yes. But if you don't have the time, you don't have the knowledge, then it's already a high risk.
All right.
But here's the thing also, there are people out there now that come forward to say they can teach Forex, right? They tell you that there are tools that they use to teach Forex and stuff like that. So, I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
I could be biased, but again, I've heard them say it a number of times. There are a lot of things that are going into the mix. What is happening in Iran? What is happening here? Do you understand? It's like there are a whole lot of macroeconomics driving that space. So knowledge is very key. So if a person does not even know how to invest in shares that are less volatile, and you're telling me that you want to go into a Forex market, and I'm a bit worried. So if you have the knowledge, I'm comfortable, then that's fine. Go ahead, enjoy, break a leg. But in many times, for somebody to even be asking you that, should I go into Forex, then you can already tell that there's a knowledge deficit here. Yeah. Then you want to go and play in a space that you don't know much about, and you don't want to get the knowledge first.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Tosin. As we wrap up, some people have asked if you have a group or an investment club or something.
Guys, come join our club. Like, we're a vibe or a movement. We want to raise, and like you can tell, I'm very, very particular about the mind first, because the truth is, you can go ahead and start saving some money now, and the next 3 months you pull it out, and it defeats the purpose. A lot of people say that Rome was not built in a day, but guess what? They were stacking blocks every day. Imagine if they were stacking the blocks that were used to build Rome, and they were going back at night to demolish it and then start again. And that's why we created a community. We don't want you to keep going back to demolish those blocks. We want you to be consistent and build in the long term. So with as little as 800 Naira per month, you can join our community. We teach you all the things you know about money and questions you need to ask. Like, we're right there. We work around the clock. How can you get on? You can go on www.themoneyafrica.com. You can go on Instagram, Money Africa. You can go on Twitter at THE Money Africa, and you can also go on our Facebook group, Money Africa. So yes, we can't wait to have you.
All right, thank you very much, Tosin. We're speaking with Tosin Olasende, who is the CEO of Money Africa, and it's been such an education, it's eye-opening, and we cannot hear this too many times. I know we've heard, I mean, some of you might say, oh, I've heard this before, but like you mentioned, it's almost like top of mind awareness. We must, because yes, you've heard it before, but are you practicing what you have heard? Are you faithful at saving? Have you started investing? Have you started changing your mindset? You know, has your mindset changed when it comes to do with money? That's what we're challenging this morning. And so we're really, really grateful to you, Tosin, for coming this morning.
Thank you
really
very much. Thank you.
All right, Lagos, for those who have asked for your handle, you've mentioned Money Africa. So if you'd like to contact her, you can go to Money Africa to get her handle. And that's it from us here on Smooth 98.1 Smooth Breakfast. Don't forget, we are 10 years old this year.
That's right.
And we have a competition running called The Intern. We're looking for the intern to have the opportunity to work with us here at Smooth 981 FM for 1 year. Paid internship, and get the opportunity to learn a lot on the job. If you'd like to find out how to be a part of this, please go onto our website, www.smooth981.fm, and also follow us on Twitter at Smooth981FM, and very importantly on Instagram at Smooth981 to find out how you can be or have the opportunity to be the intern for Smooth 981 10th anniversary.
That's right. Also, don't forget to check out our website as well. And we've got some, juicy stories that we've put up there. If you want to learn about traveling and other things related, it's just right there. Okay. Yeah. So because it's that season and Christmas is just around the corner, you want to go on group trips and, you want to go out with your family and friends and other things related. So head on down there. Once again, it's www.smooth981.fm.
Yes. Okay, Lagos, have a beautiful day. Don't forget, let's do this again tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. up until 10. But don't go anywhere. The genie is going to be here with Strictly Soul. Stay tuned.
Well done, guys.
Thank you. Well done.